Greetings, Dapplings, and welcome to a new First Taste video where today we're going to be checking out Hardspace Shipbreaker, a single-player sci-fi work sim, or as I've taken to calling it, a thinking man's viscera cleanup detail. Though that might be a little bit reductive, but I think that Hardspace Shipbreaker definitely gravitates towards the why am I playing a game about doing manual labor, and more importantly, why am I having so much fun doing it genre of games. I'm certain that you're familiar with at least a few games that fall into that genre, if not this one. As the name implies though, this is a game about breaking ships, spaceships to be exact, and it has a fantastically tight and fun game loop to fulfill that premise. Planning out how you're going to tackle the task of stripping a ship down is quite engaging, honestly, and has a certain degree of puzzle game to it, checking off the mental tick boxes to make sure you're not going to disconnect parts in the wrong order and somehow create explosive decompression or reactor meltdowns, etc. But going hand in hand with that feeling of engagement is a surprisingly hefty dose of catharsis as you actually enact said plan and begin pulling panels off walls and cutting through beams from which the protagonist's profession seems to draw its name. But if you want a little bit more to chew on, the game also has some story to go along with the day-to-day cutting up of ships, which seems to dial the satire up to 11, possibly even 13, as it paints a picture of a bleak dystopian starscape. And while you'll likely fall into one of two camps, either viewing the story as hilarious or heavy-handed, it gets delivered with some really good voice acting actually, and also some amazing passive storytelling, where the environment is telling as much of the story as the dialogue. But with all of that said and done, it's always easier to show than to describe, so let's jump in and start cutting up some spaceships. Though, for this, we're going to skip over the initial introduction to the game by continuing a save I already have running, that I've been using to learn the game over on Twitch. But if after you've watched this video you decide you enjoyed what you saw and you want to see more, you can, as always, let me know down in the comments or with a like on the video, or both if you're feeling particularly spicy today. Or alternatively, if you'd like to see how we got to this point in the game, you can head on over to my second YouTube channel, Aavak After Hours, where I've been uploading videos from the live streams. And of course, if you fancy catching me playing this live, then be sure to check out my Twitch channel too. All the links, as usual, are down in the video description below. But without further ado, let's start our shift.
This is your morning wake-up call.
It's not quite as, welcoming as welcome aboard, Captain, but it'll do. Good morning, Shipbreaker. Reminder, minimum payments are due by 10 a.m. Solar Standard Time each day. Failure to pay on time is considered a breach of contract. Thank you for your hard work and cooperation. By the way, we're in staggeringly large amounts of debts. Yes, that's a billion with a B there. Also, they own us. And I am really not speaking metaphorically there. They own us. They killed us. They own the new us that they made as part of the contract for us having a job. The future is pretty grim, yo. Having a job, there is a lot of competition, it seems. This is my hab. I've got a couple of posters rounded about, and we'll probably find more besides. I don't believe that I've got any extra... Oh, have I got unverified? Oh no, those are unverified applications. It's not that there's anything pending. I've got no new messages. I apparently am part of a union. My contract tells me that I'm really not meant to be. I'm probably going to leave the story elements behind though. Let's get to the ship breaking stuff. If you're interested in the story though, do let me know in the comments, or perhaps check out some of the videos over on Aavak After Hours. Here's my suit over there. I've got a couple of upgrades. This is where we come to at the beginning, or rather the end of each ship, etc., etc., and this is how you spend some of the points that you generate throughout the game. You upgrade your tools. There's a lot of upgrades to do. All of them are incredibly useful, such as being able to breathe for longer. Because again, the job market is pretty dire when the constant threat of asphyxiation is not actually that big of a negative to any particular job. Nevertheless, let's get out there and start a ship. Now, each ship you take on will be kind of split up into shifts. And the faster you complete a shift, because you're renting most of your equipment, the less money you pay, the less your debt goes up. But generally speaking, you should by and large, always make more money on a shift than you spend. The game is relatively gentle in that regard, but up here you'll see a bunch of hazards. I'm going to go for a relatively easy ship to take apart, so we can hopefully fit all of this into a single episode. Let's go for a hazard level 4 along that note. So we've got a little bit of an electrocution hazard, so there are power cells there. It's a very basic thruster to take off. We're not dealing with any complicated thrusters. However, it is likely going to be pressurized. These are milestones, and this buys basically the total amount of salvage, money's worth of salvage that you've acquired. This ship, if we were to salvage it perfectly, would be worth 8,474,321. We are renting all of our equipment, so effectively we have to pay for the privilege of doing this work, but to be fair, you can make rather large amounts of money. We've just got to try and pay off our debt, and then we'll actually be making money, because right now all we're doing is paying back the loan for getting us up into space and giving us the job. But okay, we're going to grab this. There's a bunch of extra information over here that's kind of story related, but for the time being, let's jump in and get some ship cutting going. Despite retaining many local governments across the planet, Earth is unofficially under the rule of the enormous Lynx Corporation. Yeah, that is pretty much true. So are we. Okay, welcome everyone to us being over here and me using this to speed me up a little bit. Let's drag myself a little bit closer and hopefully manage to connect without smashing my face into the ship. This is the ship. That is the furnace. This is the processor. Down there is the barge. Each one of these portals is basically useful for a different sort of item. For example, this over here is a barge item, so we want to kind of yank it off. The mainstay of this game seems to be the grapple gun. It is very, very useful in lots of ways, not least of which stopping yourself from floating off into space, which, you know, not so great because we don't have limitless oxygen. The oxygen we've got, we had to buy, and we don't get free refills, sadly. This is not a McDonald's. The oxygen is not Coke. There we go. Let's grab this. I don't even want to know how bad Space McDonald's would be like in this particular game. Right, okay, there we are. Those are nice and easy things to remove, and typically I try to go for a like a milestone per shift if I can. We can now bring up our scanner. Oh, actually, it looks like we've been incredibly lucky. The little red squares there are showing me that these areas have no atmosphere inside, so there's not much chance of us decompressing the place. If we have a look for objects, I can see a couple of things that I can pick up. We've got a bunch of items that I can use in my suit. That, you know, the game is not absolutely big on you grabbing, but, you know, basically free oxygen, free fuel. We may have a reactor. In fact, I think that's the reactor right there, just above the thruster. But okay, this is actually not a bad ship as far as things go. It's going to be fairly easy for us to get all of this done in a relatively swift amount of time. Now, you've got two tools. The first and foremost, as I've mentioned, is kind of your grapple gun. The second and the next most important tool in your arsenal is the cutter. Now, this you're going to have a lot of fun using, I am absolutely certain. There we go. This is now completely disconnected. I want to send this whole thing down to the barge. Now, there are lots of different modes for both types of tool, and I hope you will forgive me if I'm a little bit swift about this, because I am on the clock. Time is money, money is time, and I'm doing an awful lot of debt already. I don't need to be in more. However, there are multiple modes to each tool. Right now, for example, you can see the cutter. I can go from the a precision tool right there. It takes a little longer to break something down, or I can like cut a huge swath in something. Likewise, what you just saw me use on the grapple gun was a tether. Now, some of these abilities are unlocked through the story as you make progression. There you go. The tethers are fantastically useful. Honestly, pretty much during the stream, that was the first thing everyone said, oh, you've got to use your tethers. I didn't have them unlocked at that point. The moment anyone in the chat said, yeah, he hasn't got them, there was just this groan of like shared pain and empathy. And no, they were absolutely right. It is incredibly incredibly useful. Without them, everything is just that little bit more annoying. Right, okay, in here we can see a bunch of just random bits and bobs floating around. Lots of this stuff needs to be taken down to the barge. Some of it I can yoink myself if I particularly want to. And indeed, I do, because I am actually, on the sly, putting together a ship of my own out of bits that I probably shouldn't be taking out of the ships that I'm going through, but I do anyway, because I am a rebel. Now, what I would very much like to do is get through here, but it doesn't look like you want to let me do that, not easily anyway, which is a bit of a shame. But alright. Well, the next thing we want to do then, since this place is not actually pressurized, I can be very, very quick about opening it up. So let's go ahead and take out the cutter. Nice, quick little cut there. The tools do have a little bit of a kickback to them. There we are. And off it goes. It'll just float away very gently. You can, of course, help it out by going dunk like that, and it's significantly less gentle. Right, I want you to kind of slow down a little bit. There we go. I don't want you flying off into space because, well, I mean, we're already in space, but I don't want you flying off more into space than you already are, because I kind of need the stuff that you've got on top. Namely that. You could pull every single little bit off, but again, time is money, money is time, and some things really aren't worth the time to get it. However, I am compelled to at least not be wasteful when it's easy not to be. So if I can see a light like that I can just pull off and throw into the correct place to recycle it, I tend to, even though much more experienced people are like, yeah, no, this is dumb, don't do that, it's absolutely not worth your time, you are wasting so much energy getting something that is not worth even in the slightest way recovering. But to you, I say this is exactly why Earth is currently a hellscape in this game. My lord. It does not take me long to get these off here. Sometimes it does, but I refuse to regret it even when it does. Let's just pop up here, get a nice clean view, and boom, there we are. Now, you need to be all the way over there, please and thank you. Now, you can constantly improve a bit. Yes, no, that was wrong. So, I may have just very likely moved the entire ship, because this ship is not very heavy, and these tethers are very strong. I never said I was a smart man. Nice. Let's grab this glass, since the glass is specifically going to need to go to the furnace. Thankfully, though, you know, I don't actually have much trouble. It's one of my very few redeeming features of orientating myself in a game which doesn't really have an up or down. Everything is down if I want to be there. Yeah. Now, that looked like a much worse cut than it was. I assure you, I'm a professional. Literally, this is my job. I am profesh. I'm trying to take this off without completely destroying all of this glass. As much as it is not necessarily extremely valuable, I do want to try and recover as much easy value as I can. Let's grab you as well, Tonk. And if I can remove all of the glass and don't make a pig's ear of it, then let me just look at just the glass if I can. Yeah, that is not the glass that I was trying to cut off, but sure. I mean, it is ultimately what I was aiming for, so it'll work. Right, you need to go into the processor. Goodbye to you. You can come up here and go into the furnace. And your little friend down there as well. No, come closer, closer, thank you. Don't pull things towards you too fast, because you can absolutely smash them into your visor, and that is not fun, as I learned like 3 times during streaming this. Ultra bad times await you when the faceplate standing between you and the cold hard vacuum of space is damaged in any way. Small crack just means you're using up your oxygen a lot faster, and a big crack means you're using up your oxygen a lot faster. Either way, it is recoverable. So far, 0 deaths. I will laugh and cry at the same time if the one time I die in this game is whilst trying to record First Taste. Ah, my lord. It would only happen to me. Right, let's get you down there as well. There we go. Grabbing out a bunch of fairly easy items. There we are. Just get you floating over here. Try not to drift off towards the furnace or the processor. I'm not sure if the processor would try to process you, but I promise you the furnace will probably try to furnace you. I have so far managed to avoid it because I'm ultra paranoid. The moment I start being complacent about that, I'm fairly certain the furnace is going to eat me. And I'll deserve it. I won't even necessarily be angry at the furnace. I'll be disappointed at myself more than anything. Right, you're coming along as well. I just give it a little bit of a tug. I have, however, just damaged something. That was a bit of a shame. All right. I believe that electrical arc there. And this is why I try to do things from quite far away. But we've covered our first big bit of work there. We've covered a milestone, so we've got a few extra things to enjoy there. A little bit of extra cash. Now, I know that there was an oxygen bottle in here. So I'm just going to go and make use of that. Let me just go and pick that up. There we go. Free oxygen. Nothing quite like sticking it to the man. There we go, because that's actually reasonably expensive if I want to go and buy it over there. Imagine that, having to pay to breathe. I mean, to be fair, I am in space, so, you know, why wouldn't I? But nevertheless, I feel that, you know, it could be a little bit less expensive. There we go. And let's grab... Was there another light in here? Maybe not. Okay, fair enough. Let's cut through here. There we go. I do like using this particular cutting tool over the others, but it does require a little bit more awareness of your surroundings because it can 100% cut through things you don't mean for it to cut through. There we go. Let's get you. And if I'm not terribly unlucky, I'm not going to cut through something like, oh, I don't know, a reactor. That would be ultra bad. Let's go for the precision cutting tool here. Well, actually, we can... no. The precision cutting tool is what we need, because if I go for the main cut, I will slice through the control system for the airlock. And the airlock is worth quite a lot of money by itself. Did I get that? Yes, I did. Right, now with that done, let's hop on out. Try to remember what's behind me so I don't clonk my head unnecessarily. There are control panels on the front that I want to remove. These are, again, reasonably valuable. Let's grab you. And you can go straight down there. There's also a control panel inside that I want to grab. And just tug that out of the way. There we go. Perfect. And down we go. Marvelous. Right. Once again, don't get eaten by the processor or furnace. Again, I don't know if the processor would try to eat me, but I don't really want to find out, if I'm honest. Right, you can go straight in there. Off you go. Now, the tethers, much like oxygen and fuel and more or less anything else that they can charge me for, isn't free. I do have to pay for them, so not using them unnecessarily does tend to save a bit of cash in the long run. And saving cash in the long run is kind of one of the big bits about this game. I'm already in enough at debt as it is. I don't need to just throw money away. There we go. If you notice on the very side of the of this tool, there is a little bar there. In fact, I can quickly demonstrate it. You can see that building up. There is a heat limit to it. I'm not exactly sure what that'll do. I've never exceeded it, but it's another thing that I'm constantly paranoid about. And so, you know, one day I will become too complacent and too confident in my abilities, and I will find out how badly that will go if I mess with it. But today is hopefully not that day. Right, let's get that away. Fantastic. Now, before I pull that into the processor, this needs to go to the barge. So let's drag this out a little bit more. There we go. Now, where are you connected? I believe it might be connected just up at the top here. Yes, it is. And pop. There we go. Perfect. Right, now you are free to go. Take care. No. Oh, that was bad. Why have I done this to myself? Come back! Can I overpower it? I might be able to. I may have missed one of the other connection points. Come on. Come away. See that little line around there? This is actually a good demonstration. That is a kind of a gravity well. It's a gentle one compared to my tethers. As you saw, my tether was able to overpower it. But that was almost a loss of a lot of money. Let's get this down there. Goodbye. Take care. There we go. Thankfully, tethers are amazing. They will get me out of so many scrapes. There we are. The airlock is worth 243,000. Oh, really? Did I tether it to itself? Twice! I tethered it twice to itself. Okay, let's go a little bit slower now. I just wasted 2 tethers. 3, actually, considering I had to pull that thing back. But oh well. Right, we've got 1 minute and 52 seconds, or 50 seconds now, before our shift is over, and we will be forced back. Now, the reason, you might be wondering, why on earth are your shifts only 15 minutes long? I thought this was some sort of dystopia. That sounds like a pretty cushy job. It's because solar radiation. I am actually being cooked. My DNA is being scrambled, and the evil megacorp that pretty much recycled me on my first day in order to get the genetic information to make space, actually cares enough not to cook me, which means that it is less cost effective for them to let me cook than it is for them to actually force me to take care of myself. So that says quite a lot, actually. Right, how about you? Is this junction? Can I just yoink that? I don't think I need to. Now, if you're wondering why the screen is going a little bit crazy, it's because we're very close to the reactor there. And the reactor does not much care for us. There we go. Let's get you in the processor as well. Goodbye to you.
Out of tethers.
Yes, I know. Terrible, really. But we should be able to just yonk this free. A little bit of a tug. No? Is it coming towards us? Can't. There we go. What I'm doing there is I'm just tugging it. If you press right click whilst you've got the grapple connected to something, you draw it towards you or you towards it, whichever one. Now, I would very much like to go down there. So, dunk. And again, a little bit of extra force to get it down there quickly. There we go. I've got very little time left, so what I'm going to do with the time I've got, cut these. I'm not going to worry about my O2, because I'm a crazy mad fool. Also, I know that your O2 gets refilled on shift end. That's why I didn't want to go and buy some more O2 there. But there we are. We almost made 2 milestones in 1 shift. That's not too bad at all. And I didn't destroy anything, which is actually rather uncommon, if I must confess. We made 3.3 million. We're about to see that number go down because they're about to charge me rent. Oh, however, there we go. I have upgraded my license, which means I can take on bigger and more scary ships, and also means there may be a little bit more story coming my way in just a moment, which may reduce the amount of time I've got to cut the ship, but we will see.
Hello, Shipbreaker. Overnight genetic backup complete. Pattern deviation nominal. Have a good day.
It's very good to know that my genetic pattern isn't so scrambled from all of that solar radiation and also, you know, being cut up in order to make the genetic backup. You know, just generally bearable pain levels. I'm still alive. Barely. Possibly. I don't know, actually, at this point, whether it is me. Is this a Theseus ship kind of scenario? Am I the me that started this endeavor? I don't know. Regarding, hazard level 6. Clearance hazard level 6. You are now authorized to work on salvage with the following hazards. Class 2 reactors. Ooh, that's going to be interesting to stream. A far more powerful reactant source with greater potential for damage and a more complex extraction process. Ooh. That definitely sounds like it's going to be exciting to stream. Environmental Control Unit, ECU, controls the atmosphere and pressure levels inside a ship, as well as provides coolant to the reactor. And coolant leaks cause all surrounding objects to become highly brittle and easily destroyed. Refer to the handbook messages available at your employee terminal for more details. Okay, and there's my bill for, you know, working. We have to pay to work, but then again, when you can make 3.3 million a shift, I guess that's not actually that bad. All right, unread messages. Reactor Class 2, Systems ECU, and Demeter Paulson. Oh, that's a little bit of story lore there. And we've also unlocked a new sticker. Very nice. Salvage 12 nacelles. Cool. I will show that out a little bit. Reach certification rank 10. That looks shockingly like a cutter cutting their head and their hand off. What are you trying to tell me, game? I disapprove of whatever it is. Please no.
Good news, Cutter.
Hello, Weaver.
You've earned clearance to the next hazard level. This means you'll be getting Class 2 reactors now. Gnarly things.
Okay.
We'll start training when you're ready, and I'll walk you through them. Oh, they're not so bad. You seen one reactor, you seen them all.
Hal, I do not
think.
trust you.
This ain't really that simple.
Weaver, I trust. Hal, we do
Yeah,
not trust.
I got a tip for you there, newbie. Don't blow it up. Cutter,
Yep.
like I said, let me know when you're ready to start training. Don't take too long.
I will finish my ship first. Okay, so I'm going to have some story elements to check out later. We'll skip past the terminal for now, though, because stopping to read through those emails whilst I literally spent 40 minutes reading through the terms and conditions for taking this job on stream. That was hilarious, by the way. And if you are interested in Aavak reads, you should go check that out on Aavak After Hours. But we'll keep it a little bit more streamlined for a first taste. But I would like to go over to the equipment screen because we've got a couple of things to do, and I've got a sticker that I would like to place. That is absolutely something I am willing to do on a first taste. Okay, where am I going to place you? I think I'm going to place you... Yeah, sure. Smack dab over an important info panel on my cutter. That seems like a smart thing to do. Furthermore... I tend to like to repair things once they drop below 80%, so let's go ahead and spend a repair kit, which I tend to pick up a lot of on the job, though I'm probably not meant to, so that's fine. Additionally, I have got... how many... I've got 10, so that's not really going... Well, actually, no, that's MP. How much LT have I got? Links tokens. Yeah, I've got 10 of those as well. I do not have enough to do anything fun right now, but that's effectively how you upgrade all of your gear. You get links tokens, and then you can purchase, or rather improve your gear, and eventually you can buy the whole thing, so you stop having to be paying rent. But I think that's enough of a look at all of that. I think instead we're going to go ahead and get back to our shift. We could at this point take a training mission. That's probably what I'm going to start the next stream when I stream this next, whenever that might be. And instead, we're going to continue our current ship. We've got still a lot of ship in order to salvage, so let's get back out there, please, and thank you. Lix mandates each cutter salvage the maximum amount of value possible in a timely manner. Rewards and recognition may be given to top performers. Continue salvaging your existing ship. Why, yes, actually. Please and indeed thank you. There's plenty of stuff that I can grab from over here. Right. Uh-oh. Hi, Kaito.
You doing okay, Kai?
Oh, yeah. Thinking, I guess.
What are you thinking about?
Looking at Earth. Hard to imagine how much life used to live on it.
Can't fixate on the past, kid.
No tales.
Yeah. You know, if my life had been different...
Kaito, you distracted me, you scallywag.
I'd be working with animals.
That sounds nice.
Nature in general. Maybe an ecologist or biologist. Not sure what they do, but I think I'd like it.
Okay.
Just imagine what Earth must have been like a couple hundred years ago. Full of life.
Animal husbandry
Oh, Kai.
ain't quite the same, but it might scratch that itch. Something to consider at least when you finish here.
Yeah.
If you finish here.
Thanks, Dee Dee. I'll keep that in mind when I finish.
Aren't I a bundle of joy this morning? Right, okay. Let's go ahead and grab this pipe at this point. Let's pull you out to the processor. Now, one of the things... Oh, that is a processor item. One of the things I haven't really shown is if you look just below where it says salvage, right below the E, there's a little bar, a little green speck in that bar. That is the weight of the object that I'm currently holding. Right now, this weight is huge. It'll actually tell me in kilograms as well. But I actually find the bar a little bit more useful at the glance because I don't really care what the difference is between 20,000 kilograms and 10,000 kilograms. I do care about the bar being red and the bar being green. That tells me if I could physically move it myself. Now, my tethers are a lot stronger than my basic grapple gun is. So even if I can't move it, the tether might still be able to. But it's very useful at a glance info on A, whether or how I'm going to try and move something around, and B, whether it's still connected to anything. Because right now, this is still a part of the main ship, so it's showing me the same number. Now, this is where the numbers actually are very, very useful, because the difference between a red bar and a red bar isn't that intuitive, but the difference between 5,000 kilos and 20,000 kilos tells me whether something's just heavy or whether it's still a part of the ship as a whole. If I were to split this now, and then look at that, this whole thing is now a separate structure. The ship has gone down in a little bit of weight, but this is 100% definitely something I can move. Now, you may notice as well that the crosshair changes a little bit. If I can simply yoink something off, like I've just torn the panel off the framework there, but I didn't strictly need to do that, because the framework, if I just pulled that in, would have taken the panel with it. And sometimes, efficiently getting through the shift quickly, and thus with the most money out of the entire ship as you can, sometimes does come down to noticing those kinds of opportunities. I'm not very good at it, as I've warned my viewers many times on stream. This is like the first time I ever played this. I didn't play the early access. I kind of regret it enormously. I felt like I really did sleep on this, and I wish I hadn't, because it is amazingly fun. There we go. You're going in the processor, my friend. Let's get you down here. This is just the engine cap, and boom. There we go. Let's put a little bit more force on it there. Make sure it gets in, because the furnace is rather hungry and will very happily take my loot. Now, I would like to, at this point, start getting in on this side, start taking this whole section down if possible. Ooh, some wires. I will grab you, please and thank you. Yoink. Now, most of these you can simply send down to the barge. Quite a lot of them, that's where they're meant to go. But, as I mentioned, I'm sort of repairing my own ship right now. With, I've got a hope and a dream of not always being ship cutter. And to that end, grabbing these little bits of salvage here and there, very useful. Extremely useful, actually. Let's grab that. Let's not get too close to that fuel canister whilst we're doing this. Otherwise, I may end up slicing it with my cutting beam. And there is probably some fuel in it, which, as you can probably imagine, would not end well for me. I mean, it might not actually kill me, and just might destroy the potential salvage, because the fuel is valuable in and of its own right. However, yeah, I really don't want to cause any explosions right now. Or ever, actually. Right, let's get you down there. I know, boring. This is disconnected, I can tell by the little bar telling me its weight, so that can go along as well. Goodbye. Now, I'm rather notorious for always destroying doors, so I'm going to be shocked if we actually do get through this without a door going out, especially because they tend to hide inside walls, which is very rude of them, really. I don't really notice them until I've sent that entire wall off into the processor or the furnace, and the game warns me that I just destroyed a door. Nevertheless, at this point, I've destroyed so many, it's kind of like the daplings and trees. You just have to learn to stop caring, otherwise you just spend your whole life feeling bad. Right. Come along here, you. A little bit of a tug. That's right. Just a little bit closer. There we go. Now it's drifting. I could just let it drift on its own. And I will use this opportunity to melt that pipe junction if I can get in there close enough. There we are. And gone. Right, you. Just drag you out of the way so I don't end up clipping that, because, again, fuel canister probably explodes quite well if ruptured. And with that, we should be able to finish off everything in here. And if I'm lucky, I'm not going to end up damaging you. Oh, no. Well, I don't think this has got power anymore. Ah, damn it. I pulled the battery off the other wall, and I forgot to take care of this. Now, the reason why you want to do that is because if you don't, you can't easily remove it. So I'm going to have to waste a little bit of titanium by moving the thruster down to the barge. Also, the thruster will be a little bit harder to remove from its casing. Again, still learning the game. There are certain little things that I am trying to create a mental checklist for while I play, so that I avoid things like that. Actually, I'm worried about you and the furnace, so let me put a second tether there so I can definitely pull you in there before the furnace decides to have its meal. And you can come along. Oh, that was super dangerous. That could easily have smashed my helmet if it had decided to clonk me. There we are. Right. We've got something. Okay, never mind. This is a door console. Obviously, where there's a door console, there's usually a door. We are not going to be able to save that door, sadly. But we can save the consoles, which is almost as good. The doors, again, it's kind of like the lights. After a certain point, you've got to accept that not everything is worth saving. Now, that reactor over there is absolutely worth saving. Also, if you don't, it explodes. And we don't want that, because the reactor explodes very, very well. So, we're going to have to try and carefully remove the floor in here so that I can shunt the reactor straight down to the barge. The barge will disable the reactor once it's in there. But until it's in there, the moment the reactor is removed from its casing, it will start to melt down, effectively. Right, that needs to go out there. Slow down, like a lot, actually. There we go. And I want this console, this computer console, in the barge, please. That'll do. And you can go straight in there. Let's attach it to the roof so that it gets pulled up across the area, and that should take care of everything. Now, this needs to go to the barge, and it will probably make its way there on its own at this point. We've got a bunch of O2 in here, which I'm very happy with. We've also got a poster, which I would like for my habitation unit.
Warning. Oxygen reserve
On that note,
Links
I can't remove that easily.
gentle exercise.
Okay, you
Oxygen levels.
are going to be a bit of an issue. Let's just remove it. Can we get you down there, like, ultra fast? Go. Go, go, go. And away it is. You notice how I'm breathing faster? When you're doing something dangerous, your character starts to hyperventilate, which obviously means you use up your oxygen faster. And I love that about this game. I absolutely adore that being a thing. Alright, let's go ahead and grab some oxygen.
Warning.
There we go.
Critical
And
oxygen levels
we
detected.
are back in business.
Consult the Links employee handbook on how to
Go.
maximize your blood oxygen saturation.
It's fine, it's fine. We're all good. Right, if we just give this a little bit of a nudge, there you go, and then straight across. Should be good. Now, what I would very much like to do is remove the end from here and get in there at that thruster. It is going to be a potch now because of my earlier mistake, but we should still be able to manage it. Once all of those four are disconnected, the thruster itself will be
All
free.
right, Cutter. You got
Let's
5 minutes left in this
go ahead
ship
and
before
cut
they turn
in
the
here.
lights on you. Pitter patter.
I'm fine. We've got all the time in the universe. We don't have all the time in the universe. That's a lie. Let's cut you. And there we are. The back should now hopefully be removed. Yeah, there it is. Now then, I want to gently tug this away from the thruster if I'm able. So let's grab you there and just draw it back. Are we pulling the whole thing? No, I think we're good. Good. Actually, yes, we were pulling the whole thing. My bad. I had forgotten to remove that one. There we go. Now, the thruster is relatively light to move around. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this casing by tethering it to the back wall, and that will guide it away from the thruster assembly. There we are, and then you press Y to discontinue the pull. Now I need this whole thing over here. Now, unfortunately, it's quite a large structure, so it's going to take a fair bit of pulling, and also it's very close to the furnace, so I'm a bit worried the furnace might try to eat it. It's thinking about it. It was thinking about it very hard, but we managed to get it out. Great. Now we can drag the thruster out. And then the thruster needs to go to the barge. That part of the back needs to go to the processor. Can't really do anything about it, sadly, without damaging the thruster, so we'll just have to accept that one. Right, is there much more for me to remove? Yes, there is. There's a little bit more. Let's pull this out. Oh, my lord. My life flashed before my eyes. There we go. I'll draw this one out as well. Now, there are a couple of things that are absolutely worth your time making sure you collect, even if you don't really need them. One of them, for example, is thruster fuel. Because your thruster fuel, unlike your oxygen, does not get replenished in between shifts. So, always worth picking up some spare fuel if you see it available in a ship. Even if you've more or less grabbed everything and you don't intend to come back, grab the thruster fuel right at the end, so you can just save yourself a little bit of credits, really. There we go. We are almost at the point now where we have managed to... Yeah, there we are. We've managed to get the whole ship in just 2 shifts. I'm actually very nice. Or at least we've gotten to the point of the getting the 5 milestone, 5 stars, if you like. Let's get you out the way as well. You'll notice that sometimes the cutter has those dots. That's showing me where it will layer cut. Certain materials are easy enough for my cutter to cut through. Aluminium, for example. Titanium, not so much. There we go. I also did just notice a poster that I don't already have, so I think I'm going to grab that. Thank you very much for joining me. That door, I could just remove it, and I'm kind of tempted to. It's not terribly valuable, all things considered, but still not horrible to get some money out of if you can make that happen. There we go. Again, whilst grabbing every little bit of something isn't the most cost-effective, it is actually quite satisfying to do, I must be honest. Additionally, there are certain achievements for salvaging X amount of Y material, and those don't appear to show up until you've done it, so it's a matter of experimentation for much of it. Let's get that over there. We've got 1 minute left on the clock. I'm not really sure we're going to be able to do too much with that. One thing I could do, I suppose, is to just throw caution to the wind and hope for the best. Let's get you over here. Thank you. I would like you very much. No, that is wrong. Okay, I guess I'm throwing it down there. That's not quite what I meant to do, but alright. I meant to pick it up. It's the same key for throw something away really fast as it is for pick it up. I might be able to get it from the barge. I may have just sent it down to Earth, though. It's probably gone. I hope Earth enjoys the free fuel. But that is going to be it for now. Pretty happy with that, all things considered. It's fine. I've destroyed a door. Look, if I don't destroy a door, then is this even me playing this game? No. You notice up at the top, though, I also destroyed a suit patch kit. That doesn't really matter. But there's a little red bar right at the top that shows that I've lost my access to that particular amount of salvage. You can finish this at any time, and I'll just demonstrate that by finishing it 3 seconds early. You could leave at any moment. The moment we cross the threshold, that's where I would have been happy to do it. But we managed to not do it too badly. The first shift almost got us 2 milestones, and then the remaining 4 were gotten in the second shift. That was 4.9 million worth of salvage. We lost $222,645 worth of salvage by sending probably doors and various other little bits of bric-a-brac into the furnace right at the end there. And left there was 29,958 worth of salvage. Possibly the fuel canister was redeemable from the barge, but I don't really think we had the time to or the need to worry about it. We earned 96 MP and 64 Lynx tokens and 1 repair kit, which we have now stored safely in our hab that we can use to repair our tools in the future. But with that, I think we've come to the end of this first taste. Good morning.
Would like to share the following message.
Ooh, we're going to get a following message.
In the salvage yard are profit, processor, and potassium trifluoromethane sulfonate.
Very catchy hab voice, truly. But that is going to be it for our first taste of Hardspace Shipbreaker. I really do hope you have enjoyed and will be joining me for the next game that we first taste, or perhaps even for some more Hardspace Shipbreaker in the future over on Twitch. Either way, though, I look forward to your feedback down below. But until next time, do take care, everyone.